Okay, so how to do particles or the sprinkles in Blender. So at the moment we should have this, which looks pretty good. And what we're going to do is we're going to create the sprinkle to begin with. So we're going to add mesh. We're going to create a UV sphere. Make sure it's not too big. So we're going to do 16 by 8 because we don't need a lot of detail because it's quite a small object. And now we're going to scale it. So go on to vertex view, turn on, that's my neighbour's dog, and I unfortunately can't do anything about that. And I am just going to move this upwards to kind of create it, but if we do that we'll create a weird, so I'm just going to press E to extrude, and then we'll have like something that looks like that. I'm going to take these and scale them. So just do that. Take these, scale them, and then we have a sprinkle. Okay, it's a bit big, so we'll just move it to the side of our object. Just scale it down. Probably needs to be around that big. Maybe a little bit smaller. That looks about right. Turn off X-ray, and now we're going to put it onto the icing. The problem is if we could take this and we could duplicate it a bunch of times and rotate it, but it would take ages. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use a particle generator, and that will be quicker. So this at the moment, I'm going to give it a new material, color it any color you like. And it probably needs to be a bit shiny. And then, so grab your icing and then go to here and go plus. And what you'll get is you get these, like all of these sort of ping pong ball things, which is not really what we want. What we want is hair. So if you turn that on, you're going to get hair everywhere, which looks a bit weird. And then what we're going to do is change the way it renders. So at the moment it renders as a path, and we want to render it as an object. And the object we want to use is the sprinkle. So now you can see them everywhere, they're all over our object. So they're obviously not big enough, so we're going to scale them. That's too big, so kind of something like that, I think. And you can see they're all going in the same direction, which even the best Dunkin' Donuts employee would struggle to do, and so we need to change that. So we go to advanced, and then we are going to change the rotation, and we're going to make that a bit random. And it doesn't change anything because it's using the velocity or the speed that the hair comes out, and we want to change it to the normal, which is more the direction of the geometry. So that's looking better. It's still looking a bit weird because they're kind of going everywhere. They're going underneath and they're going probably inside as well. And so we need to limit it to a place like on the front. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this thing called weight painting. So you press this and it goes all blue, which looks a bit weird. And you get a brush and you can draw on here and you kind of create this heat map on it. Looks like one of those infrared things. And what this does is it basically all of the bits in red are where the sprinkles will go, and all of the bits in blue are where the sprinkles won't go. And just paint it on the top vaguely. Don't think too hard about it. It's not really that you don't have to be super exact. And does that look okay? Yeah, it looks right. And once you've done that, you go back into the particles, and down the bottom it will say vertex groups and density, and you click on group, and now it's put them all in one big clump. So go back to object mode, and we can see that we got them all there, which is great. We can turn off the sprinkle here because we don't need it anymore. And there's obviously too many of them, so let's kind of bring down the amount. So the number is 1,000, so let's bring it down to, I don't know, kind of that, 400. That looks good. And I reckon I'm going to change the scale. I'm going to randomize the scale of it as well, because at the moment there is the scale here. I'm just going to change that a little bit just to make it a little bit more interesting, and that looks all right. You can go back into the weight map if you wish, and you can paint more areas where you want them to appear, and it will update that kind of relatively dynamically. But I think that is good enough. So go back to object mode and we can see what they look like. Right. So that's good. The next problem is that we need to change the color of them. So I'm going to go to shading, and what we've got here is we've got like these nice kind of sprinkles. Here's our original sprinkle. I'm just turning it on. And that is orange. And the thing is we want these to be loads of different colors. So that makes it really difficult because these are kind of generated. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like quite a interesting little kind of little sort of like node map in order to do that. So I'm going to go and I'm going to add something called an input. And what we're going to do is going to do object info. And what you can see that's got a bunch of things on it. And that will change the way that kind of shaders work. And what we're going to use is the random bit, and that's going to be useful. Then we're going to use, on here, we're going to use in converter a color ramp. And a color ramp is just a ramp that goes from black to white. And we're going to bring that in to the factor, and then that's going to go into the color. And now it's turned everything black and white, which is kind of cool because it's made them random in the color of black and white. So I'm going to change the black to a different color. So I'm going to change it to yellow. And then I'm going to change the white to, I don't know, whatever we want. So I'm going to change it to that kind of color. So now it's changed them. So we're getting sprinkles, but they're kind of like shades in between, which looks a bit weird. And so I'm going to change the way that they work together. Because at the moment it's RGB and it's linear. And if you change it to constant, what you end up with is you end up with this, where it's like, it's just either yellow or it's yellow or this bright pink. So, and that's kind of cool. So what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to change this to a much nicer yellow, because that yellow is, I think we can all agree, horrible. And then just add more colors, you choose. And I'm going to add, so I'm going to keep the pink down here, and then this one, I'm going to make it, I think, like a blue. And then I'm going to add another one, and this one I'm going to make a green, and just keep going if you want. You don't have to. And then this one I'm going to make, I think I'm going to do this one actually white, and there we go. And so now I've got sprinkles on the donut, and then the original sprinkle you can just hide it, and there we go. And once you're ready, save, and that's it.